allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you can remain standing for just one moment, I'd like to ask that we observe a moment of silence for Chief Warrant Officer 2, Casey Frankowski, Chief Warrant Officer 2, John Gracia, and Border Patrol Agent Chris Luna. Thank you. All right, you'll call us to order with a roll call, please.
Councilwoman Shane. Here. Councilman Hoyt.
Here.
Councilman McCluskey.
Here.
Supervisor Leiter. Here.
All right, I believe there is an intention to open the meeting with a resolution filling the open position on the town board. I'd like to make a suggestion that we table this until the April meeting, in as much as we've received letters of interest for people that would like to be appointed to the position. So that would give the board time to consider those letters that we've received.
Has somebody resigned?
We had a resignation of Councilman Beaudry.
And when was that announced to the town?
It was made public knowledge when the agenda was posted last Wednesday. And at that point, letters started to come in, letters of intention to be
Thank you,
appointed.
Madam Supervisor.
How's the board feel about that, tabling it until we get the opportunity to listen to what townsfolk have to say?
Guys, while you're having your discussion, is this a discussion that we can hear? Because if it is, could you speak up? Because all you can hear is mumble. Or is it something that you don't want us to hear? That's why you're mumbling.
It's something they want to fight through.
It's the latter.
It's the latter, huh?
Okay, it seems to be a consensus of the board members that they'd like to proceed as the agenda dictates tonight with resolution number 35. So I'd like to ask the board member to go ahead and read that if they'd like.
Whereas the town board of the town of Grafton is advised that effective February 12, 2024, Councilman Beaudry resigned from his town board position. And whereas pursuant to New York State Town Law, Section 64-5, the town board of the town of Grafton is now charged with the appointing and replacement of Councilman Beaudry until December 31st, 24. And whereas Rebecca L. Green is qualified elector of the town of Grafton and appropriate for the appointment to serve the town council members. Now be it resolved that the town board of the town of Grafton hereby appoints Rebecca L. Green to serve as the town council member as the town of Grafton until December 31st, 2024. And it's resolved that she must sign the oath of office before taking the break within 30 days of the appointment. Motion made. Second.
I'll second.
Councilman Hoyt.
Yes.
Councilwoman Shane.
Yes.
Councilman McCluskey.
Yes.
Supervisor Leiter.
No.
At this time, I'd like to swear Rebecca L. Green in.
Not even the way.
Can somebody tell me what just happened? We couldn't hear
Didn't hear
what
anything.
Tom was reading. And can I make a suggestion that you move the letters of interest to the town council ahead of appointing a person so that we know who would apply for the position?
They've already passed.
I feel as though the board's already, they've already made the motion to pass it, Chris. Although we've already made the motion or made the resolution.
They did that before.
Yes, but you have on your agenda, under communications received letters of interest of the town council. I just feel it would be more appropriate if those letters were tied in to the appointment of a council person.
I agree completely with you, and
Did the council meet in violation of the open meetings law to decide who was to be appointed?
And has the deputy town clerk resigned from her position as deputy town clerk prior to sitting as councilwoman?
yes.
Okay, when was the town clerk going to announce that to the town?
Just received that.
It just seems protocol is out the window and transparency is non-existent. I'm David Buckley. I just wanted to add that to the record, Madam Town Clerk.
When you're going to have several applicants, why is just one chosen?
Because
Before
she wanted,
anybody else?
she wanted to table it, and they already decided before they came in here.
Was there a reason why Mr. Beaudry resigned, given in his resignation, Madam Town Clerk? I'm sorry, Madam Town Clerk, was there a resignation letter given, and was there a reason given by Mr. Beaudry why he resigned?
I do believe it stated that he resigned because of holding dual positions.
Okay. Thank you.
But none of these here. Yes, we have none.
I, Rebecca L. Green,
I, Rebecca L. Green,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution.
Can we be quiet?
of the United
This isn't
States
swearing in.
of America,
I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge my duties as town council
Thank
member
you.
and I will faithfully discharge my duties as town council
Yeah.
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities. I thank you, town board, for your support. I thank all of you for being here to witness this tonight. I appreciate your support. Wow. Moving forward, we have supervisors' announcements.
Okay, I just need all the appendix for you.
Oh,
Try to do a whole roll call.
No, you just have to note.
Okay. And Councilwoman Green.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, for supervisors' reports, the financials were forwarded to the town clerk and posted on the website.
Did you want to do the minutes, or did you just want to move the minutes, or not?
That's on the agenda, they're listed after.
Oh,
Moving forward, yes, the review and approval of minutes from the February 5th, 2024 special meeting, the February 12th, 2024 regular town board meeting, and we're making a correction to the total of vouchers approved at the February 12th meeting from $41,740.50 to $43,328.02. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
A second.
Councilman Green,
Yes.
Councilman Shea,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilman McCluskey,
Yes.
Supervisor Leonard.
Yes.
The agenda.
All right, reports and remittances from department heads and town committees. As I said earlier, the financials have been forwarded to all board members. Town clerk, would you see to it that Councilwoman Green gets a set?
Yep.
All right, the town clerk's report?
All right, for the month of February, town clerk fees brought in $52. Building permits brought in $425. Trash brought in $1,882. The total revenue for the month was $2,361. After paying Ag Markets $2, the check that went to the supervisor was $2,359.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the town clerk's report. May I have a second?
Second.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilwoman Shane,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilman Cuspy,
Yes.
Supervisor Gardner.
Yes. Attorney Danaher, can I ask a question as regard to procedure? moving
Sure.
forward? Newly appointed Councilwoman Green votes on only things that are here moving forward, from here to forward, not on past things?
Well, anything that you're going to vote on at this moment is moving forward.
Is moving forward, right? But if there's something that had to do with anything past, no,
We'll have to hit that. I can't think of anything that she couldn't vote on,
right?
so if there's something, please bring it to my attention.
Okay, all right, thank you for the clarification. All right, the town highway superintendent, you'll see Jared is not here this evening. Jared showed up for work this morning for the snowstorm at 4 a.m. and loaded his truck and got out of the loader and walked across the yard and broke his ankle in two places. He fell and broke his ankle in two places. Luckily, Chief Jim Goyer was here, as well as 2 or 3 of the other gentlemen. They were able to get Jared into Chief Goyer's rig and get him to Samaritan Hospital promptly. He had x-rays, and it is pretty badly broken in 2 spots. His surgery's next Wednesday, I'm sorry. So he's vowing to get back on his feet. 9 days. 9 days away, yeah, 9 days. He's in a full cast, but, so he's all right, he's all right. We actually took him some paperwork this evening to make sure he was all set. But as Jared said, he's got a heck of a good crew. They're all guys with good heads on their shoulders. They know what they're doing. We're in good hands, and of course, through the magic of, and I'm sure he's going to be hitting Chief Goyer up for some rides around to job sites to make sure things are going smoothly. So if everyone could just keep him in your thoughts, and, it surprised him very much. And so, he didn't expect to start his Monday that way. Yes, yeah, right.
Do we have a deputy superintendent?
We don't have a deputy superintendent at present, no. I would think in my supervisor's mind, that would defer to elder statesman of the highway department, Mr. Goyer. The gentlemen on the highway department respect him. They know he knows what he's doing. They know he puts safety first. So I think we're in good hands with Jim while we navigate this situation with Jared. So please just send him all your good wishes, and we'll see him back soon, I'm sure. All right, did we have an assessor's report?
I didn't see one.
No?
Of course not.
Is the clerk to the assessor here this evening? Would you have anything you'd like to report on behalf of the office?
I can't report on what Craig would report on. I mean, the only thing that I know that's completed is the exemption forms have all come in.
Okay.
They've been reviewed.
Do you know why Craig doesn't submit a report monthly anymore?
I can't answer
Can
that.
we,
Maybe-
yeah,
I know, I was
let's
just
keep
curious.
it.
He
Yes.
does normally,
It's a legitimate question.
he normally does submit a report.
Okay, all right, thank you, Linda, for that. All right, Buildings and Code Enforcement Officer?
We have 10 permits out here today. We have 3 new houses going to be constructed. Taking a class in April, a 3-hour mandatory class.
Fire ban, is that coming up too?
March 15th.
You can't hear them. Tom, you're gonna have to speak up.
Speak up or hand them a microphone.
You guys got.
Yeah, I'd encourage the board, until we get an adequate sound system. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We're the only one.
Let's go to Ingrid's letter, okay? When we're talking. All right, the planning board chairman. Martha's not here this evening. Martha was the house fire on Route 2. So luckily she's safe and made it out all right, got her pets out. Grafton was lucky in that we not only had the Cracker Jack response of our volunteer fire company at the scene, we had a gentleman driving by who was an East Greenwich firefighter who had just recently reloaded his fire extinguishers into his Jeep, and he saw the fire as it was in progress and pulled in and started working on it and waiting for the squad to get there, which they did, not the squad, I'm sorry, the company to get there. And they did, so thank God we have the Grafton Volunteer Fire Company and sharp people traveling through town.
Is there some way the town board can write a letter to this volunteer fireman and express our thanks?
If the board agrees, I was hoping we could do a commendation in April for this gentleman. Maybe invite him out and thank him for his eagle eyes. Okay. Okay, the rescue squad. See Captain Sullivan back there?
We had 17 calls for the month of February. We do have a newer member who is now enrolled in the EMT class. She will be testing out later in the spring. We did have our meeting with the Zoll rep this last week. There was some good information that was given. We did take a look, and we will have probably this coming week we'll be deciding on what unit we'll be going with.
That's for the AED?
For the AED, correct.
Thank you. Tom, would the rescue squad be interested in sponsoring or holding a basic life support CPR course open to Grafton residents?
We certainly would be happy to look into that and take care of that. We do have a certified CPR instructor in-house, and we can work with that. So we just need to, if the town board's going to sponsor it, we just need to work with you on picking a date and getting all the details ironed out.
That'd be great. What do you guys think?
Yes,
Yes?
definitely.
Okay, all right, that's great. Thank you. All right, the dog control officer, Vicky.
Just one call, we finally caught the one black dog that had been running on the Grafton for quite a while. We were able to actually get the owner and the dog in the same location about the same time, and she was able to get the dog to come to her. He's been running since the end of January.
Very happy.
Good job.
And reunited with the owners.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Super. Thank you, Vicky. All right, the Recreation Committee. I see a few members here.
Okay, the committee has chosen me to be their chairman. So, right now we're working on the Easter egg hunt. We've bought all the stuff that we need for it, and we've got 80 bags set to go with everything there's one other thing that we're talking about getting. We're going to see if we can get it. We want to get a little toy to put in each bag, but we don't want to spend a lot of money, so we're going to see what we can find, but we still have time to do that. So we're going to make an appointment with Jane in April, get a hold of her. I had already talked to her anyway, and she says, yeah, April would be plenty of time to get together, see what we need, see what she's going to give us, so forth, and then move on with the picnic.
And that's June 4th, tentative date?
The 9th.
Oh, June 9th? Is that what it is? Okay.
And a suggestion, what I did last year for the egg hunt was I had some gold eggs, whoever got them, I just got them like the chocolate bunny. Just
Okay, that's a good idea, that's a good idea.
Yeah, an extra bigger something, and it seemed to be fun. Just an idea.
You know, I was going to make chocolate bunnies for everybody, but the cost of chocolate, you know.
I'm not sure so little, they don't even realize, you know, the work involved, you know. But, yeah.
Nice thought, but
Probably better to buy them, buy them commercially. Yeah.
So,
And the date of that, what's the date of the Easter egg hunt?
the 23rd at 11 o'clock. And we thought that,
Weather permitting.
right, weather permitting, it's going to be, if it's good weather or snow, it's going to be down at the town greens. If it rains or is too nasty weather, we're going to have it up to the school. Tom has graciously allowed us to use that. So we didn't put that on the flyer because I didn't want to confuse everybody. So I've got to get a hold of Chris Schillinger because I want to be able to, if we can have it down there, we've got a big poster to put up saying hunt held at the elementary school or Roxborough. But we didn't want to put it, we didn't want to, because when we had the thing for Christmas, everybody goes confused because we had to keep canceling back and forth, so. That's about it.
Better off waiting until that day and, like you said, put an arrow.
Arrow on the road all the way up.
Okay, all All right, thank you, Nancy. The library submitted a report because Leanne is not here. Is that correct? Yep. Where is that? Okay.
Let me just read it.
Yes.
They did 736 books, 247 ebooks. Patron visits was 257 adults, 17 teens, 45 children. Hoopla participants is 40. 2023 annual New York State report has been completed and reviewed by Upper Hudson Library System, and they submitted the report to New York State. A copy is available at the library for review. The Dr. Seuss birthday party was a big success, over 35 participants. Current Zumba ends March 11th. The new session will start March 18th. Thanks again to Tom McCuskey for the use of Roxborough Holdings. They're averaging about 14 participants. After school programs going strong, 12 to 17 children, K through 5 attending with different activities. Story time on Wednesday is growing with 5 to 7 children attending. Respectfully submitted to the Director of Community Library.
All right, thank you, Vicki. Thank you. All right, the Merrymakers.
So the first meeting of 2024 is going to be Wednesday, April 10th, and the meeting will start at 5:30. I don't know who's cooking, who's doing what when Kathy returns. I'm assuming in a few days she'll get that ironed out. We're having a brief business meeting at 6:15, and the meetings they're not a strict meeting. People, voice their ideas for what they would like to do. So it's really not in any kind of real meeting form. The first trip has already been scheduled for Wednesday, October 2nd. Buses this year are at a little bit of a premium. They're very short of drivers, so waiting until a month, maybe 2 months before we want to do a trip, that's not going to work. There aren't enough drivers to go around. So Kathy did go ahead and schedule it for Wednesday, October 2nd. And just because of popularity, we're going to go back to Racket Lake in the Adirondacks. So many people on the first trip, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think there was 40 or 42 people. Everybody had a great time. The food was unbelievable on the cruise. That boat is privately owned by a family, and it's a brother and sister that actually do everything. So the brother is the chef, and the food is just amazing. And they do, a little talk about how it originated, who originated it, the dad, and blah, blah, blah. But we decided October would be great in the Adirondacks just because of the fall foliage. So they'll be taking the first reservations at the April 10th meeting. I was invited this year because it hasn't been going on for many years. I was invited by the Brown Coach to go to their trip fair, which was last month. This is the first one they've had in 3 or 4 years. And when I walked in, I was shocked. There was probably between 70 and 80 people there. And the last time I went was, again, 3 or 4 years ago. It was at a much bigger venue, and there was probably 250 people there. So the folks that I got to talk with are from senior groups in different areas of New York. And I probably spoke to maybe 10 or 12, 14 different people at different tables and the presidents of different clubs. And they said their meetings and their trips are so down. I mean, senior initiatives just have not recovered from COVID. So, so many people, so many of the seniors there were saying they used to have just busfuls. There were 50 people and 40 signed up, to be a backup if somebody canceled. they were saying that this year they're having a really tough time. And when I walked in, I could tell by the number of people that were there, because prior, like I said, 4 years ago, the venue was enormous. And the gifts they gave out, you know, were nice brown Coach bags, and this year they were little bags. And just not many people. It was really sad to see what's happened with the senior community, and not just Rensselaer County. This is just everywhere. Hasn't recovered, people are not returning. So that's, you know, I was just sad to see what's happened. So that's kind of the brunt of what's going on. And, you know, we hope that we can get a bigger attendance going forward, starting with April 10th. You only have to be 55 and up. So it's not like, you know, and we have it at night because most 55 people are still working. So we'd like to try to keep it in the evening so more people can attend. So the 55 plusers that are in this room, we'd love to have you attend to try to build it up and not be one of the statistics. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. See you on the 10th. Perfect. All right, the senior citizen representative.
Okay, I'm gonna stand because that's what I do. Hi, everybody.
Lisa.
I'm Lisa. I'm the director of the Everett Wager Senior Center. I've seen a lot of your faces, and some of you I have not seen. I have a little lengthy report just because I can't come every month. I have Diane that's going to start reading my reports for me, and I submit them to Vicki as well. Well, let's talk about Happy March. It's nice to see the sun out a little bit longer today, right? Yes?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not a quiet group. I'm sure you're not a quiet group. I watch you. Okay. February in Everett Wager Senior Center was event-filled. We had a lot of information out there for the seniors this month. Some of the seniors participated and learned hands-only CPR for Heart Awareness Month. The Alzheimer's Association came and spoke to the seniors about the importance of healthy living for brain and body. A lawyer came and spoke with them about wills, trusts, healthcare proxies, and more. We also had our monthly presentation from Cornell Cooperative Extension, the Eat Smart. The seniors watch her prepare a healthy recipe and then they get to taste it. It's always a favorite. We had some fun with the Mardi Gras celebration, playing a minute to win it games, music by Ray Gifford, monthly birthday celebrations, and always a bingo once a month. Chair yoga continues on Mondays and Fridays. A simple chair stretch exercise class was also added in February. And then a leap year, we started something called cardio drumming, which has been a lot of fun. I know a few of you in here have come. It is a lot of fun. March is shaping up to be just as eventful. Just last week we had a woman come to speak to us about Project Linus. We have a group called Strings and Things that meet at the Senior Center, and they work on whatever they want. It's a crafting hour for them, or hours for them. They sew, they knit, they crochet, they bring stuff in, they bring it home. This Project Linus is a nonprofit organization that provides love, a sense of security, warmth, and comfort to children who are seriously ill, traumatized, or otherwise in need through gifts of new handmade blankets and Afghans created by volunteer blanketeers. And your seniors at the Senior Center are making blankets for this organization. This month is also going to bring music by John Hill, which is tomorrow afternoon. Our monthly birthday celebration, Eat Smart, we're planting some seeds. We'll be playing The Price is Right, Grafton Senior Style, of course, and at the end of the month we're having a friendly Senior Feud competition. You've all seen Family Feud. We're having a Senior Feud competition with Hoosick Falls. Hoosick Falls came to us in the fall, with for our cornhole competition. And Grafton won. So Hoosick Falls wanted another competition. So now we're doing Senior Feud. Chair yoga will continue on Monday and Fridays. Cardio drumming is on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. Please call to reserve a spot if that's something you want, because it is becoming popular and we may end up having to have a couple of sessions. Strings and Things will also continue to meet on Thursdays. Now, a couple things. Did you know that legal aid is available for seniors at the center once a month by appointment? You'll see 2 people a month. Also, once a month, we offer haircuts, mani-pedis for seniors, also by appointment. And once a month on a Monday, we have something called Medicare Monday, where a senior can sign up and come and talk to a representative about any health insurance. Menus and activity sheets are in the lobby area in the center. Stop by and pick one up. We do not always get them on time. It has to come in our office mail, as Linda knows, because she gets them out for me. We usually get them by the end of the first week of the month. If you're on Facebook, we try to keep our site as up to date as we can. It's Grafton Everett Wager Senior Center. There's a picture of the sign as our profile picture. There is, brought to my attention, there's a similar senior center from another state that has the same name, and some of the seniors were following that one, so they thought things were going on that weren't going on, or that we were closed and we weren't closed. So, picture of the sign that we planted, all the flowers that we saw. Did you see that in the spring? Yes? Yes. Okay. Does anybody have questions about the senior center at all? No? Linda, I thought you were going to ask me a question. Your glasses are
My glasses are.
I do. For the blankets, are we gonna bring the ones that we make up to the senior center and then you guys are gonna give it to the?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah. So if you're at home, even if you're not a senior and you have blankets that you've made and you want to drop it at the senior center, please feel free to do that.
I just had a question. Do you offer tax service for the seniors at all?
There is a number, a 211 number that you can call for senior taxes. I do know in Hoosick Falls, which isn't very far away, there is a place that will do it on Thursday evenings and Saturday mornings.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Is it just crocheting or could it be quilting?
Crocheting, quilting, sewing, fleece tying.
Okay.
You know, whatever. Anything else? I have one request for the board, if I may. I want to thank first for patching, that we had a little divot in the concrete and they patched it for us. But to prevent that from happening in the future, I think investing in some good gutters would be very helpful. It'll prevent some issues in the future. Right now, I can't let them walk up the walkway. They have to come up the ramp because of ice and snow falling and water. So I'm just asking the board maybe look into something like that. And I do know one of our seniors from the Grafton Senior Group has a few things she'd like to say also, if that's okay.
Sure. Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
I'm the representative from the Grafton Senior Group. We attend the center. Monthly meeting is tomorrow at 10. Our monthly meetings are usually the second Tuesday of the month at 10, unless something happens that needs to be changed and most people know in advance. Our treasurer is recovering from surgery, so we'll give that kind of report next month. And we'd like to thank you for the reimbursement of some of our expenses from last month. The Alzheimer's presenter was very interesting. The handout from this was from the association titled Healthy Living for the Mind and Body. Greg Gifford's music was enjoyed. He also performs at open mics in the area if anybody wants to look him up. His wife is a great musician too. The lawyer's information of Wilson Trust gave very useful information and brought up other helpful, it brought up other questions for people. The Representative Joanne Marscario from Linus Project, her talk was wonderful, and everybody had a lot of questions. The restrictions though, I heard there were questions back here, no wool. There are too many allergies to wool, so just please don't use wool. One thing that came up when she was there, the group Angel Gowns, they take and they accept wedding gowns. And they use all the material into gowns for infants who have passed. So just something to keep in mind. If you have anything you'd like to donate, call the center. There's somebody there who can see that to the right place. If you haven't tried cardiodrome, look it up on YouTube. We really do enjoy it. People might have preconceived notions about it, but it's really pretty good. And that's it.
Thank you. Pat, can I ask Pat or her question? Yeah, Diane's about to close. At the meeting, I recall them also saying that they didn't want Granny square blankets for babies?
Not for infants.
For
They have a
infants.
place for the older people.
Right,
Because
okay.
it's from infants to 18, and they don't want those fingers through all those holes.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Diane. All right, we're moving on to communications received. We have a charter communications spectrum proposal for updating our phone service and internet. I'm gonna ask the town clerk to speak to that.
I haven't got to look at everything that we had on here, because what we discussed was just upgrading our phone system, and running fiber optic into the town hall. He set up a whole package of other things, it was a quote. Some of it is a one-time charge, and some of it, for monthly charge, it'd be $664 a month, which we're paying $600 right now a month. I brought it to the town board so that you guys can review it, and we can all discuss it a little bit and see what's actually in it and what we could use and what we really not interested in. But he said with upgrading to fiber optic, they would install it for free into the town hall, and their phone systems would, of course, he's gonna tell us, greatly upgrade our services and what we can do and what we cannot do. Some of it sounds very good. Like I said, I think it's just something we all need to discuss, call and talk to him, email him with questions, and then decide what we want to do from there. It was kind of a cold call. He just called me and asked me some questions. He said, let me send you a package. And I said, okay. He was pretty persistent.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. Yes. All right, then we have letters of interest for town council.
Can I step out of place here a minute, just 1 minute? I have an emergency in the family, I have to go. I want to thank Jarek and myself. We attended the local highway march at the Capitol, and the request is that Hopewell is proposing a $100 million decrease in the highway funding for this area, which is going to affect everything. So I'll leave this with the board, they can review it. And our request from the highway is that the board members please contact our representatives and try to push it this week. It's very important. We're going to lose pothole money, paving money, winter recovery money. There's a lot that's going to happen if we don't push this. So.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I had a-
All right, good luck with whatever you have, emergency-wise. All right, moving to letters of interest for the town council. We received a letter from Christopher Von Schilgen, February 21st, 2024, to Supervisor Gundrum and members of the Grafton Town Council. My name is Chris Von Schilgen, a resident of Grafton for 25 years. I would like to submit my name for consideration for appointment to serve Councilman Beaudry's term until the November election. I am retired after working 36 years with the New York State DEC, Division of Fish and Wildlife. The last 20 years of my career was spent in the Special Licenses Unit, which included administering the New York State Falconry Program, along with the Wildlife Rehabilitation Program. The scope of statewide regulatory responsibilities required working in conjunction with multiple federal agencies and various New York State agencies to address both human and wildlife concerns. Currently, I serve on the NYSDEC Falconry Advisory Board, having been appointed by the Commissioner in 2008. Additionally, I serve on the Board of Directors of the Friends of Dyke and Pond, most recently as President. I served active duty in the United States Air Force from 1967 to 1971, and am a member and multi-term past commander of Taconic Valley Post 937 of the American Legion. My past community involvement includes board member of Taconic Valley Soccer Club and youth soccer coach, Brunswick Soccer Club coach, Shatford Little League baseball coach, assistant leader of natural resources focused Forest Friends 4-H Club, and a fire commissioner of the Petersburg Fire Company. Dealing with budgets, laws, and regulations compliance, supervision, creating work plans and completing projects, and leading committees are skills that I can contribute. I believe I could utilize my many years of varied volunteer community service and career experience to serve Grafton residents as a council member. My objective during my career and volunteer service has always been to build a cooperative relationship between all stakeholders to address everyone's concerns and issues in an impartial and responsible manner. Respectfully, Chris Von Schilgen. We also have a letter from John Munn, March 7th, to members of the Grafton Town Council. As a resident of Grafton for the past 10 years and a property owner for more than 3 decades, I would like to be considered to fill the vacancy on Grafton's Town Council created by the recent resignation of Stephen Beaudry, and to serve either for the remainder of his term of office or until such time as a special election may be held for the position. With reasonable written notice, I am available for an interview and can provide references upon request. Sincerely, John R. Munn. We have one from Mr. Chuck Douglas. I would like to submit this letter of interest for the position on the town board, which is currently vacant. Please consider this my application for the town board position. I have attached my current resume for review. With over 30 years of experience in a professional industry and also with 7 years of leadership experience, I feel I would be a good fit for a position on the town board. Thank you for your consideration. I look forward to hearing from you. What else do we have? We have a letter from Nancy LaRock. Dear March 9th, dear members of the Grafton Town Board, I am writing to you to express my interest in serving on the Grafton Town Board in light of the resignation of Councilman Steve Beaudry. I am a lifelong Grafton resident, a graduate of Tamarack High School, and a retiree from the New York State Department of Labor after more than 30 years of service. I am known to Grafton residents as being passionate and informed about the business of town government. I am a volunteer member of the Grafton Recreation Committee for the last 3 years, helping to organize and sponsor fun community events. My commitment to public service is shown by my having run for a seat on the town council in last year's election. While my 408 votes did not achieve election to a board seat, it was a great pleasure to campaign door to door and meet many of our community members and to hear their views and concerns about Grafton town government. I feel I have a connection with the community and that Grafton residents know they can count on me to be a fair and honest councilperson. I appreciate your consideration and thank you for your time in reading my letter. And I believe that is all. Yes, and we have a letter of interest from Sharon Lisi for cleaning the town up. Me too. Yes, thank you, okay. There you go. I'm sorry, yes, we have one more from Herb Hasberg, who just left, from March 9th, March 8th, to whom it may concern. I'm writing in regard to the opening on the Grafton Town Board. I'm interested in serving on the board. Please contact me if you have questions in regard to my interests and abilities to fulfill the position. Points of interest: I've worked on town budgets for over 38 years. I attended over 98% of town meetings, worked with the town engineer and town board to establish road specs, worked with the town board to establish the recycling center. I had input regarding rebuilding the town hall. I had input regarding rebuilding the senior center. I have an understanding of the bid process, including local, county, or state bids. I've completed paperwork and backup paperwork for many FEMA projects, and I will work for all town residents. And I do believe that's the last one. Okay. All right, well, thank you everyone who submitted a letter.
Thank you.
We have a letter of interest from Sharon Lisi for cleaning the town hall. To the Grafton Town Board, February 12th, 2024. This is to notify you that I am reapplying for the position of cleaner for the year 2024 for the town of Grafton. Thank you for your consideration for this position. Sharon Lisi. We have a letter from Linda Lavway from March 8th. Dear Supervisor and Board members, I'd like to express my appreciation for appointing me to the position of Grafton Planning Board Secretary, as well as the Town of Grafton Clerk to the Assessor. I'm honored to have your support and confidence. Respectfully, Linda Lavway.
So the town clerk did not get a letter of interest from Becky?
Those that I read were those that we received.
So you received one from Becky? Correct. Okay.
I'd say that's correct, yes.
Well, you did, that would be a correct answer.
We have a letter from a gentleman, here it is. This is from a gentleman that lives nearby, Dominic DeFelice. Subject, Route 2 safety, proposing sidewalks, speed limits, and crosswalks. Hello, my wife and I have now lived in Grafton for 10 years. We're at 2407 Route 2, and we absolutely love living here and feel like we've found a hidden gem that we are all proud to call home. However, we've always had a concern with the speed on Route 2 and the lack of a sidewalk for people walking to the town square, the store, or heading to the state park. We just gave birth to our first child, and the safety concern we have always had has now become glaringly obvious. Cars frequently fly through here going 55 miles an hour, and the only place to walk is on the narrow shoulder. It bothered me before having a kid, but now it is making me consider moving for the safety of my child. I know that when he's older, he will be walking to the town store or riding his bike to the park, and with the many things that are there now, I fear for his safety. We've already lost a pet due to someone rushing to work going over 50 miles an hour in front of our house. Before moving away from a place we truly love, I want to see if there's a chance to make a change for the safety of our community and the children who live here and call this home. My wife and I would like to propose adding sidewalks and crosswalks in the town, from the library to the senior center on each side of the road, with crosswalks by the store and the senior center. We'd also like to propose having the speed limit reduced through town to 35 miles per hour, like every other town on earth. I don't know where to start with this, but I'd like to get the conversation started, and I'd be happy to champion this effort if need be. Please let me know what steps we should take, and I will be sure to do so. Thank you so much for your time and consideration. Dominic and Christy D. Felice. We received this February 20th, and I did a little research on it, and according to DOT, it's completely up to the towns to establish crosswalks as well as sidewalks. So perhaps it's something we want to push forward with to see what we can do to make it safer, at least in the village.
Especially if they're using the greens down there for events and stuff like that. I think it's a very good idea.
Yeah,
Myself. The speed limit, I don't know what we can do with that.
the speed limit has always been DOT's.
But yeah, I think we should definitely
Move forward with that. Let's see what we can find out. We also have a letter from Brendan Scanlon for the Ethics Board. Do I have that? I got it here. Okay. Please find attached my letter of interest and resume for the open position on the Board of Ethics. And he does have quite a nice resume. This is a gentleman named Brendan J. Scanlon. This letter accompanies a letter we received from Linda Russell when we initially solicited for interested applicants for the Board of Ethics. And what we had decided as a board in reviewing the letter from Linda was that we would refer these letters to the two remaining gentlemen who are on the Board of Ethics and let them interview Mrs. Russell and now this new gentleman that's applied, and let that board make their recommendation to us. So is the board comfortable with forwarding this to the Board of Ethics? Okay. Okay, so I'd like to thank Mr. Scanlon for his interest and as well as Mrs. Russell for hers. And I believe that's what we have for, we have the Mentor County Hazardous Mitigation Plan. This is a plan that the county renews every 5 years, I believe it is.
Right, and they're very interested in having all the municipalities participate, give input. It's the same exact form that they sent to Sandlay, which we reviewed together earlier. And I would recommend that the town board consider a motion to approve the letter of intent. And you would list the supervisor as a contact person, Jared for DPW, and code enforcement as the 3 contact people. And I'd recommend the board consider doing a motion to approve because they're trying to get this all wrapped up by the 13th, which is coming up fast. I know they're not going to get them from all the municipalities by then, but if you guys feel up to it and if you've all had the chance to review the letter of intent, then I would encourage the town board to make a motion to approve the letter of intent to participate in the Rensselaer County Hazardous Mitigation Plan. And again, it's just something where all the members of the county get together and they formulate a plan to deal with different hazards that might take place.
Different hazards.
Could be anything.
They've had their initial meeting. It was on a day that I was unavailable to attend, so I asked my deputy supervisor, Doug LaRock, to attend. I believe it was held virtually.
Yes.
At that point, so we do have our feet in the door on it as we did 5 years ago. We handled it then, and I'm sure we will now.
All I did for that meeting.
When it's motion time. Yeah, absolutely. I think we should.
All I did for that meeting, by the way, was take notes for Ingrid. I did not speak on behalf of the town and commit to anything because that was not my position to do so. Simply took notes and relay them to the supervisor.
Yes, and thank you for doing so. Thank you. So as when we get to the resolutions and motions portion, we can go ahead and make a motion and see how we fare with that. But I recommend that we do participate with the county on that. Yes, that's very important. Yep. Okay, so where are we? New business. Under new business? Let's keep that for the
It's under resolution.
Yes.
Number 37.
So if anyone doesn't have new business, we'll move to the old business. All right, we have the AIT update. I'm going to ask Vicki again to speak on that. Could you remember them?
I got the quote from and suggestion from AIT, who the town board approved in the last meeting, to be our IT consultants. Some of the things that they brought up was backups for our systems. Our firewall is very efficient. We're open to a lot of possibilities of being hacked or whatever. Email use. They do have a few other things that they do as far as like website hosting and stuff like that. They gave us 2 quotes. One was for a laptop for the conference room that the planning board, town board members, anybody could use to go in, use, print emails, send emails, do whatever they need to do, print their minutes, whatever. And that quote with programs installed was $1,185. And that includes, and the other quote they gave us is updating our firewall, antivirus and that type of protection, and upgrading us all to Office 365 with emails, so that we could use like a universal email for everybody. It'd be graftonnewyork.org to go along with our websites. And all this software, hardware and stuff for that was a quote of $4,045. So that brings you up to like $5,200 if you guys would like to move forward with this as the way it is right now. I would kind of like to get going on it just because some of these things would be really awesome to have. And they would improve our service rating.
So can we do that with a motion?
You can do it with a motion. You guys have all seen this? Okay.
Okay, the town hall cleaning bid status. We've been back and forth on this about formalizing or adopting formal specs, I guess you'd say, and have not gotten those together. So in the meantime, we have a letter of interest from Sharon Lisi to continue cleaning the town hall as she is, and I think I'd like to make a motion that we go on a month-to-month basis with Mrs. Lisi until we determine which
Just
way
hire
we're
as an
gonna go.
at-will.
Hire as an at-will.
At-will means you can always move on to someone else later if you so choose.
She works as an independent contractor, is that,
She
that
would
will
be an
still apply?
independent contractor.
That will still applies to that?
Mm-hmm.
Motions?
Yes.
Under motions, okay.
I do have that listed on the resolutions. I don't know if it could just be a motion or whatever.
Can I ask you a question about that? Because in the letter of interest, it sounded like you were looking for a business that was bonded and so forth and so on. So I didn't put in for it for that reason, because I thought, well, you gotta be bonded, they're looking for. So my question is the person that put the letter of interest in, is she bonded?
I don't believe she's bonded, but we haven't formalized those specs to say that we want someone who is bonded.
Okay.
So we're still operating month to month, they still need to be cleaned, so.
Totally understand.
Right. Okay. Post office entrance repairs. We left that with contacting Wayne Bonesteel for engineering specs, and then at the end of it, we left it with, we were gonna kind of do it in-house, put some plywood down or something in the
I went
entrance.
down and looked at it, there's 2 boards really that need to be replaced, 2 2x6s. They got a dip in them just from wearing out. So we could get a local contractor to come down and put a couple of these boards in. I'm not gonna paint anything till springtime when it dries out, but I think all those decking boards should be replaced. Which is, if we get a local contractor to do that, it's not a big job. The rest of it's structurally sound. Underneath, the joists are all good. The post and the aesthetics of the historical building, you have to take into consideration. So Trex or something like that is very slippery. So you have to take that into consideration if you wanted to do that. Those boards have been there an awful long time, and they got wear marks in them, so they've been there a long time. So you know, talk to Jared, and maybe we just get out on a weekend when it's closed and throw some good boards in. You know, just, you know.
Okay, so we're gonna make that an in-house repair that we'll take care of. Okay. Great. The senior center contract, we have everything we need in place as far as our insurance certificates. They've been forwarded to the county. That's our general liability, our workers' comp, and our disability insurance is the one they needed. They have everything, right? The disability. So I've sent everything we have and up to date to Nicole Riley, Phil, through the county attorney's office.
You could have sent it to Nicole.
I did. I did send it to
Jen's
Nicole.
back there now too. So.
Okay. No, but she's acknowledged receiving everything and not needing anything else to put the contracts together, so. And that's going to be a 3-year contract. I understand we're open 5 days a week now, is that?
Not yet.
Not yet?
We're working towards that.
We're working towards it, good, okay. But the senior center is going to remain a senior center for 3 more years. For 3 more years after this expiration on April 30th is when it expires. Okay, the ethics board vacancy, we've already addressed. We're going to refer Mrs. Russell's letter and Mr. Scanlon's letter to the sitting members of the ethics board. Okay. All right, if there's no more old business, we're moving on to public comment, which is privilege of the floor. Public comment is limited to 5 minutes per person. At our last monthly meeting, we moved away from retaining our time, holding our time, so we're trying to move away from that. Councilwoman DeShane is going to be the timekeeper on the 5 minutes, and she'll also be giving a 1-minute warning. So be ready for that when the time is expired to 1 minute. So be mindful that public comment portion of the meeting is a privilege. All comments and statements shall be directed to the town board. Please refrain from any personal attacks, name calling, or derogatory public comments toward individuals. And here we go.
Can I just clarify something really quick? You asked me if the center was open 5 days a week. It is open 5 days a week, but we only serve lunch 2 days a week.
Okay.
So we're looking to serve lunch 5 days a week eventually.
Okay. And cook from that kitchen? Yeah, nice. All right, good deal. Okay. But you're running programs 5 days.
Running programs 5
But
days.
lunch just 2 days.
Correct.
Okay. All right, good deal. Okay. All right. It's on the floor. Pat Bush.
At the last meeting, resolution number 30 of 2024 was presented by the town supervisor for a secretary for her, and again, not approved. My question is why? This issue has been addressed several times by myself and others, and we still haven't gotten an answer why 4 board members are against it. 2 meetings ago, Mr. Hoyt stated that when a question is asked, then the board needs time to discuss it. It's been 2 months. Do you have an answer yet? The board members are elected by the people, well, most of them, by the people of the town of Grafton and are paid by the taxpayer money. So I think when we ask a question, we do deserve an answer. So again, I ask, what is the answer to why the 4 board members are against the town supervisor having a secretary? And just throwing out there, my opinion, it seems it's a personal thing against the town supervisor, and personal issues should not be affecting the board's performance. That's one thing. The other thing is Steve, now why did he resign? Was it a conflict of interest for Steve resigning?
His resignation letter said due to having been informed that he could no longer hold two positions. Was the terminology.
Okay, so it must have been something recent because he's been sitting on the board for a while and doing both positions, correct? So it had to be something that just came about that made him resign. So is there an answer to why? Can anybody answer why you're against the town supervisor having a secretary?
I'm for it.
Mr. Hoyt, have you had a chance to discuss it? Mr. Hoyt, have you had a chance to discuss it?
We've
I mean-
discussed it a number of times, and people are not interested in having a secretary.
Who's the people?
Yeah, and why is it
It's the board.
Okay, so the board isn't interested.
the board?
Who doesn't carry the
But what's the
workload?
reason? Why? There's got to be a bottom line there, a reason why.
Just be honest. What's the reason?
I mean, seriously.
Very transparent.
There's secretaries every other place in the town,
I'm
so
sorry, Jack,
why?
the job was eliminated.
Even the assessor.
Yeah, but who eliminated it? Who eliminated it? The board, back to the board again.
We did.
Yeah, well, that's not right.
Well, if Frank was a supervisor, he would probably get a secretary, right?
You wouldn't need one.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
keep the chatter directed to the board.
So I still don't really have a reason, just like it was, I mean, there's got to be a bottom line. Why can the assessor have one? Why can the town planning board have one? But the assessor, there's something there. People in this town are not stupid. There's something there. We'll get to the bottom of it. This takes time. And one other thing too is, if I was to send a letter to somebody, a board member, about something, if I sent it to one specific board member, does it get shared to everybody or no? Like if I sent Jody something, it would just be for Jody. So you don't like share it with the rest.
I've not done that.
I mean, I don't know, I'm asking that.
It would depend on the content of the letter. If it came to me, it would depend on the content of the letter. I'd say, hey, board, you should share this.
So do you think like maybe in 30 days, there could be an answer why there's no secretary?
You have a minute left.
Okay, but in 30 days, you think we can have an answer to that? Why there isn't a secretary? I mean, actually, that was really good, what Ingrid had said, because it's nice to have somebody here on a Monday for 6 hours. I've had to come 3 times for something and nobody was here. So that would be perfect, to have somebody there on a Monday and not have to wait till an evening hour to get something done. That's it.
Thank you, Pat. All right. Who else from the floor? John Murray.
Okay. To answer your question, you can address it to the members of the Grafton Town Council, which is what I had done here. This letter was delivered tonight to the members of the Grafton Town Council. A, I take notice of Resolution 35 is not identified as new business on the agenda. As many know, Councilman Stephen Beaudry resigned under the cover of darkness and after the close of last February's meeting. His resignation has not been made public, and I know that because I looked on the website and it was not there. And this meeting is the first public opportunity for the board to bring this information public. But the board instead acts in haste with Resolution 35 to fill the vacancy with an as-yet unidentified candidate. And the reason it was unidentified is because the agenda that was on the website tonight, which I looked at, did not identify who was going to fill that position. With an as-yet unidentified candidate, while multiple candidates seek to serve the office. Has the board met in private in violation of the open meetings law to select an individual? The board is arrogant in acting without public input. Resolution 35 is incomplete as presented in the agenda in that it fails to identify a candidate. Whereas Resolution 35 is not listed in the agenda as new business, and whereas it is incomplete, this body is attempting to appoint a hand-picked candidate to circumvent a public process. In a manner as important as this is, any action on your part tonight, absent public input and without due consideration of all candidates in public discourse before us, your constituents, is a breach of your obligation to the voters and obligation of due diligence. Mr. Bowdry tendered his resignation after the last meeting was adjourned, and this body failed to publicize notice of his resignation or the board's vacancy, despite Councilman Witkowski's ownership of the town's official newspaper. It appears that this body is intentionally ramrodding a hand-picked individual and shutting out public input. The process is not open, and decisions are made in secret without public deliberation. I hope this board will reconsider its approach and give due process and consideration of all who may be interested in the vacancy. Obviously, I wrote this before we knew what was going on. Whereas this resolution fails to be properly presented on the agenda and incomplete, I request that it be tabled until such time as candidates are vetted. Second point, B. Currently, Councilman Tom Witkowski is serving illegally in his dual roles as councilman and town building inspector, codes enforcement officer. This is a problem of his own making, and the remedy was his to take prior to taking his oath of office when Mr. Witkowski should have stepped down from his civil service position. He chose not to do so. As a consequence, he now serves illegally in both roles under current law and therefore has no authority in either position. This council now seeks to remedy the situation with resolution number 40 that specifically identifies Mr. Witkowski and exempts him from the law. In doing so, the council thumbs its nose at concepts of conflicts of interest and the distribution of authority by town officials. The resolution allows Mr. Witkowski to vote on this matter, which directly affects him. And if you look at the signature lines on the resolution, his name is there. An obvious ethical violation. The justification states that Mr. Witkowski's talents are unique in Grafton, and this is not the case. In addition,
4 minutes, John.
this board has not reported making any efforts to seek alternative solutions. In my mind, this is a violation of good governance without sufficient justification, and I will reserve additional comments for the public hearing. I would also note that Mr. Witkowski is being paid by the town for both positions to offer services which are now illegal. The town should halt his compensation for both positions until a legal resolution is in effect. I note that the board has a quote for the internet service, okay, point C. I note that the board has a quote for internet telephone service from Spectrum. Were other vendors solicited, and what were their quotes? And finally, the town has over $1 million in its general fund's money market account and about $1.2 million in its highway fund account. What are the interest rates in these accounts, and are better rates available? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, who else from the floor? Mr. Buckley?
I'd like to follow up with what John had to say. You know, we all stood here a year ago, and we watched as they proposed an ethics violation against our town supervisor, and we stood here listening to I believe Mr. Gruenberg, who represented our town supervisor, and he eloquently said to all of us that it's his belief that the town attorney had erred in his judgment. Folks, after just listening to what Mr. Munn had to say and watching, now our new councilwoman knew that she had to resign as deputy prior to serving. Why is it Mr. Witkowski has not done the same? So I think it's time that someone spell out to the board that you might want to consider getting a second opinion and another attorney on his opinion, because apparently his opinion, legal counsel, has been wrong as well. Because in one of the things that we've been put on the town website, and I'm sure the town attorney had done it, and it says that Mr. Boger resigned because of conflicts with his pension. Well, listen, it can't be both. Okay, it can't be both, because if he turns in a resignation letter saying that he can't serve two positions, but the town clerk puts up, based upon an advice by the town attorney, that it's because of pension credits, someone is lying to us.
I
Okay?
can address that.
Well, I only have 5 minutes, okay? So my point is, we need to stop listening to him like he's E.F. Hutton, okay? Apparently he doesn't know what he's doing because we've already been told this. And how do we know that? Because when these ethics violations were sent to the Rensselaer County District Attorney, the end result was unfounded and without merit. I can't recommend enough to this town board to get rid of him and get somebody else. Because Mr. Beaudry, based upon his own admission, has been serving unlawfully for 4 years. And I think it's cute that you go ahead and you put in the town record that it's because of pension credits.
It's not because of pension credits. I believe that resolution was prepared by.
I don't know who
believe
prepared
it was prepared.
but that's not what it
It was
said.
prepared by the town clerk's office, I believe, and it was done by cutting and pasting. Who prepared it?
Finished his 5 minutes.
Right, because otherwise it gets clouded with a lot of nonsense that we're all used to. Okay, but at the end of the day, why are we getting ready to propose a law to allow him to do what is unlawful now? Why are we doing this? You guys are really in support of this? It looks so bad. It really does. It looks so bad. There are people who are willing to serve. You could do an extension to find someone in his replacement. You could do a shared services agreement with another municipality. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever to do this self-serving stuff without serving the needs of the people first. Shame on you. I yield back the floor.
I'd like to ask the board, the resolution that Mr. Buckley is referencing, the initial resolution that sought to appoint a replacement for his board seat did say, Mr. Beaudry, upon advice of the New York State and local retirement system.
Yes,
I'm
it is.
asking the board right now, who prepared that resolution?
I have no idea who prepared it. Actually.
But he never told
The
me. that it was
licensed
pension
briber
credits.
did it. He's the one who did it. That's why he did it. Excuse me,
I know. David, I'm not thinking Mr. Danaher prepared that, but I'd like to know who did, how that came
I
about.
prepared
Oh, you did
resolutions, but I
prepare.
had no reason to believe that he resigned because of pension credits.
Well, neither did we, sir. We didn't know that either.
It
Okay?
had that in there. Where did that resolution come?
Yeah, we're all tired of being lied to.
If it came from me, it's because of cut and paste from maybe, was Mr. Wager retiring because of pension
Those
credits?
circumstances did apply.
So
to
there
Mr.
you go.
Please resign
So he
and
just
fire
covered
him.
the same thing.
That's what you need to
Right.
do. He gives out horrible counsel advice.
Okay, let's
Can
keep
you,
it.
can you explain that clearer now after all this and Dave
We
talking?
took Mr. Wager's resolution when he retired, and we just changed a couple of words to use for the recent one, and it must have had that he retired because of pension credits.
Okay, I understand that. I know it was an error, but that was pretty unprofessional when you're writing a resolution and putting something, information in
Well, wait a
it.
minute, guys. I prepare documents, they're to be reviewed by the town clerk,
I'm
and
not
the town
blaming
clerk
you,
caught it and then removed it.
but I thought it said it was in it tonight.
Someone posted it without reviewing it.
Gotcha. 'Cause
I don't post anything.
I know that.
Okay.
Okay, and I wasn't blaming you, I'm just saying that whoever did it, you know, it should have been caught, and it was caught, but it was already out there, okay? So somebody leaked it somewhere.
It shouldn't be posted until
It
it's
did
been
actu-
approved.
It accidentally got posted in the original form, and when I read it, I called him right up and I said, "Is that what that's supposed to say?" And he said, "No, I am," and then I immediately changed it.
Okay, and I understand that, Vic. The only thing I'm saying is, in the future, we might be a little bit more careful because the town is watching. And they're going, wait a minute, this is wrong information. And then people start not to trust the town board.
Well, they're not to be trusted. They're not trustworthy. That's how you prove trust. You check trustworthiness, there's none.
Okay, someone else from the floor? Mr. Loveday.
I'm going to stand up so you can hear me. In the audience, I see my next-door neighbor, Frank Lewandowski, former councilman. So I'm only wearing this to protect my family. It's not a political statement. So my question is, I don't know if you can answer this accurately, but are you allowed to change the agenda form, the way things are set out in the agenda, and just go to motions and resolutions as first thing instead of the
Very often,
fifth?
yes, they can. And it
Well,
happens
that's
it happens very often. It'll happen tomorrow night with the county. They're doing the same thing.
So I have a few things to say. As you can tell, as I always do. One thing is that the supervisor's committee appointments may need to be looked at again because Mrs. Green is now apparently on the board, and there are a bunch of ones that Beaudry had, so that needs to be addressed, right? And I hope that you, reshuffle the deck so you choose people who are the most appropriate. And I will say that with your experience, there are a lot of things in here that do actually work very well, okay? I mean, you've got experience in places that you need for that position. The position is another matter. I find, and I don't think it's uncommon knowledge that this board is highly polarized. And it's really a shame because you guys work hard. All of you work hard. We're not saying you don't work hard, but when you come here every day, 12 times a year or 15 times a year and get yelled at, it must mean something. So something should change. And we're all listening and looking at you and watching you, so things will change. Just be aware of that. So the polarization of the town board has caused, over the past few years, multiple problems and suggested improvements that have been unsolved and not adopted. And that's where my angst comes from. It's like, we don't have any time to waste. We gotta do stuff, fix problems, help people in the town. And I feel from a human standpoint, that's not happening. That's why I'm upset. I'm not out to get anybody. I just want things to work, And I know you work, but I think when problems are 4 years old, it's time to look and say, can we find a better process, a streamlining process to do the work? Okay, so I'm on your side on that way. I think that town employees that hold multiple positions inherently reduce the adoption of new ideas to solve problems and to improve town life for its residents. I sit at home thinking about this stuff. It's like, wait a minute, there's got to be a better way to make things better in the town. And I think making change is important. The last thing I have is a question for Mrs. Green. My question is, what are your qualifications? What is your resume? Because I and most of the other people in this audience never saw a resume, and you just passed, muster with the board, most of the rest of the board, to be on the board. What are your qualifications, and how do you speak to that question? What can you do for the town?
I'd be happy to discuss that with you after.
Couldn't you discuss it now on my time?
No.
Really? Because I'm legally allowed to have a conversation with you.
No, you're not. This is something the supervisor has extended. This is public forum. You're allowed to say anything you want, but you can't make them respond to you.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'm corrected. I apologize. I'd love to have a conversation with you about that, just so that I understand where you're coming from.
You have a minute.
Okay. I'm all good. Thank you for your work.
Thank you, Mr. Lynette. All right, anyone else from the floor tonight? Nancy Laurent.
Just have a question for the board, and I've just noticed, before I ask a question, I've noticed that every time the board has been asked a question, that all four of them, including Steve when he was here, you look down. That looks suspicious, to say the least. That you can't even look the public in the eye and give them an answer, that you have to look away from us. And it's almost like, oh shit, I don't know what I'm going to say, so I'll just look, they'll disappear. Okay? That's very unfortunate, because all of you up there are very intelligent. So my question is what are you hiding? I've heard many rumors in town since Steve retired, or quit. I want to say retired, it sounds better. And one of them is the reason why you wanted Becky Green on the board, because she is going after the supervisor. And I heard, Tom, you said that. That I'm just telling you, it's a rumor, and that's why I'm asking. Okay? But it's pretty sad.
No, first time I heard it, Ingrid.
Well, I'm not making it up.
I'm speaking loud so they can hear.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But that's why I asked the question, because so many rumors go around and nobody asks. And everybody goes out and repeats it to everybody else. I'm coming to you and I'm asking you a question. That's all I was doing, okay? The next question I have is, did you call any of the people that had put in a letter of interest and speak to any of the people that put the letters in before making your decision? I haven't heard any discussion from the town board in the public what you thought about everybody and who you were going to pick. There was not one thing mentioned in the public. Where'd you make that decision? I know last month, before I left the store here, I looked in and everybody was in the town clerk's office. Is that when you made the decision? Okay? It's just, you wonder why some people don't trust you, including me at times. This is why. Did anybody hear Chuck, John? Did you ever hear anything from any of the town board members? Okay, so.
Keep it coming at the board.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to find, they didn't give me an answer. So I had to ask to clarify it, I had to ask other people that put in a letter of interest if they got contact. They wouldn't tell me if they contacted or didn't contact anybody. I just think there's very suspicious things here and there shouldn't be suspicious. It should be out in the open. If you're proud of who you picked, then be proud of who you picked. That's great, and I congratulate you. Okay, but don't sneak behind the public's back. And that's what it feels like because you guys never do answer anything. One of the other questions I have to change the subject is down in the senior center. I noticed in the office, I've been down a few times, and I noticed in the office there's a spot. It looks like there might have been a leak. I didn't check it the other day when I was there. Has that ever been taken care of? Because from what I understand, they've been asking for this for a couple of years now to get it fixed. What's the big deal that we can't get a contractor come in and fix that? It's soft, it looks like hell, okay? And, you know, we're supposed to be proud of our senior center, right?
You have a minute.
Okay, we should be proud you want us to be proud of the senior center. I want everybody to be proud of it. But you walk in there and these people have to work, you look up and it looks like crap. It's not that big of a place. I could do it, for crying out loud. I don't know why we haven't taken care of that. And then one other question for the rescue squad is, I've noticed that his report is giving different things. He's just saying how many calls he got. He didn't say how many they've missed or what kind of calls they were. And I was just wondering, did something change here? Because that's not the same report. And I want to know what questions you asked Becky before picking her. What questions you asked Becky that made your decision without asking anybody else? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Madam Supervisor, I just wanted to add that the only reason the town knows that Steve resigned is I was informed by the Board of Elections of his resignation. We were never told by the town clerk. I announced it. That is what prompted people to go ahead and send letters. I was advised because I am required to find a candidate to put up against their new pick. Okay? I was the one who showed transparency. They did not. I yield back the floor again.
Mrs. Labway.
Very brief. I just want to say there's probably maybe 10, maybe 15, maybe 20 people in here possibly didn't vote for the 3 board members that are there. So I think this is what we're seeing. They won by majority. So I think what they're doing obviously must be a pretty good job. They were elected by the majority of Grafton. That's it.
And currently on lawful.
Okay, anyone else from the floor? Mr. Lewandowski in the back. Hello, Brian.
Hello, I'd like to thank Steve Beaudry for his commitment to the town. I think what happened to him was a political hit job to all of a sudden after 4 years say you can no longer have 2 positions, when I personally looked into the associates of the towns that said that it was perfectly fine for him to have that position. So it's just disheartening. I'd like to say that I think the board did a wise decision. I'd like to congratulate the new councilwoman. And I'd like to also point out that when Mr. Hoyt was picked, there was no issues. He was picked without a huge thing. This is common practice with all the towns. They want to put someone in as quickly as possible to fill that role, to have a proper number of people to be able to do town business. And I don't see any issue that happened there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Excuse me, but can I respond to that just because I was involved? I had gotten a call when they put Pierce on, and I was told to come up for an interview to the school because I wanted to be considered. When I got up there, I sat there through a county meeting, and then Mr. Tom asked me what I was doing there. And I said, well, I was told to come up for an interview, and so they interviewed me. In the meantime, during that meeting, Ingrid had already stated to the county that Pierce was their pick. Then I was lied to and said, well, we'll get back to you. Okay, why couldn't it have just been straight up and tell me, waste my time? So there was interest there, and there was a problem, they just covered it up.
Anyone else tonight on the floor? Chuck Douglas?
Yeah. So I just say, I think basically I would just say that there's absolutely no reason you couldn't have chosen, this was a board's decision, you could have chosen to put resolution 35 in the normal spot in the agenda under all the other resolutions and listen to public comment. There's this very specific reason you didn't do that. And I think it's because you didn't want to hear what the public had to say, you just wanted what you wanted. And I think that's just a wrong way to go about it. And I'm absolutely positive that's not the way it was when it came about when Pierce was brought onto the board. So it's just an observation that I want to make known.
Anyone else from the floor? Yep. Kara Benson.
Yeah, I'd be interested in being in that conversation, being in qualifications as well.
All right, I saw Sandy Von Choden.
I just want to also reiterate what others have said, that I cannot see any reason why the council did not inform the public as soon as the resignation of Councilman Beaudry was received. There was plenty of time to put it on the official town website and the official town Facebook page. It appears neither place. So the only reason people knew about it was because of the Democratic chairman that was informed. So why weren't the townspeople informed about the resignation? And how can you appoint someone who did not even submit a letter of interest? You did not did you look at all the candidates? I mean, I don't understand how this process came about. I would like an explanation and a justification how you came to that decision.
We're over here, Tom.
I wasn't part of the decision to appoint the board member that was appointed this evening, or any board member. I wasn't aware of Councilman Beaudry's resignation until approximately 2 days after he did resign, although I understand he resigned immediately after the town board meeting on February 12th. His resignation letter is stamped in at 8:50 p.m. I wasn't informed, not a phone call, I believe it's the town clerk's statutory duty to report vacancies to the entire board, not just the council people, but to the supervisor as well. That failed to happen. I wasn't part of the decision to appoint Mrs. Snyder Green or anybody, and that's what I feel as though the people that might have wanted to be appointed or considered for the office were disenfranchised, and that just seems to be becoming
the norm,
modus operandi.
And that is so disrespectful. That's a prime example right there of the disrespect. How can you exclude a member of your town board from the decision making? All of you owe us an explanation. The three of you that engaged in the discussion, I guess, owe us an explanation of how you came to that decision and why did you exclude the supervisor from that process. It's shameful.
I have another minute.
No comment.
I have another minute.
No, they can't save it anymore.
Yeah, they said at the beginning.
Go ahead, Rob.
Dave, thanks. Yes.
I have 4 minutes. I just want to say that we're spending a lot of time on things that are not the governance, you know, and we're all humans here. Why can't we just do the governance and make lives better instead of being partisan? For God's sake, man. I mean, we're all gonna die, for God's sake. Just get human and make things happen. We're not here to argue. We're here to just have us rate town. I love this place. I love the woods. Let's make it happen, you know? Let's just chill down, do what's right from now on, and just enjoy each other, enjoy the town, and enjoy the fact that we're all here helping each other. Thank you.
Who else from the floor? Marissa Wager.
I'm just done with the bullying, honestly. I would like to be way more productive and focus on things that are much more relevant than what this display has been for, I don't know, about a year now. It's honestly, I'm not proud to be in Grafton anymore because of what we display up here. So stop acting like children and solve some problems. And who's doing what is not one of them. I don't know. This just seems like a waste of time, in my opinion. But again, just an opinion. We only get to just talk and we never get answers. So truthfully, I'm not into politics, but I don't even really know the purpose of being here. I don't know the purpose of these meetings. There's nothing gets answered anyway. But everybody has their opinion and that's mine.
Thank you, Marissa. Thank you. All right, anyone else on the floor? No. Ann Calabro.
Are you ready? First thing, I got behind the school bus in front of the library the other day, and the kids just didn't stop coming off. It was really great to see all the kids going for the after-school program. So I just want to give a little kudos to the library for that. I feel like the resolutions should be presented before public comment so that we can hear discussions about them and have a say before they're brought up for a vote. It's not acceptable for things to be voted upon without letting residents know what's being brought up and what the board's thoughts are on the matter at hand. It's just not right. Resolution 35, I don't know why that was such a rush tonight that it had to be done before anyone else got to say anything. Appointing a replacement to the vacant council seat. I heard that at least 4 other people, now it's 5, expressed interest in filling Steve's seat. Most fair would have been the next highest vote getter from the last town vote, which would be Nancy LaRock. Steve resigned on Monday night after the last board meeting. Ms. Green changed her party affiliation the next day and has been made the presumptive nominee for the November election. Already, everyone knows that. I question her suitability for the seat. She should have been ethically bound not to accept the deputy town clerk position, since by accepting the post, she put her sister in danger of losing her job for nepotism. If no one knows what nepotism is, it's hiring your family members to work under you. It wouldn't have been a problem if it had been an unpaid position, but there was a salary attached to it, and her sister would be her direct supervisor. You would think that a 20-plus year judge would know that. Resolution 40, the town board presenting a resolution tonight to set aside the Whitehall Doctrine, which has to do with the compatibility of whether one may hold more than one position of employment. The question is whether one position is subordinate to the other. Generally, that manifests itself in the public employer-employee context, where one office has supervisory authority over another position. From town discussions, it appears that Mr. Wiskowski would like to maintain his position as head of the planning board. Since he is also the building inspector and the code enforcement officer, I find this problematic. I'm sure there are other people interested in the position, and these people ought to be given consideration before overturning the Whitehall Doctrine through resolution. The proposal says that Tom is the only one in town suitable for the job, and I find that questionable. It was brought up at the last meeting that $25 an hour was a very lot of money to pay for a deputy bookkeeper. In my opinion, it would be practically impossible to get a competent and honest professional for any less than that. The assessor works 2 days a week, and his secretary receives $10,900 in compensation. That works out to approximately $26 an hour. The planning board meets 12 times a year for approximately 15 minutes. The secretary receives $1,000 for her services, which works out to about $83 per hour. On top of that, she's apparently not responsible to turn over the minutes to the town clerk, which have not been reported on the town website since November 2023. I am extremely disappointed in our town board. You were voted into office to work with the supervisor to run our town. I do not see cooperation from any of you with our supervisor, but all of you working at odds against her. The supervisor made a resolution that she'd get her secretary again. She's on duty 24/7, 365, and has a job on top of that. She definitely deserves and needs a secretary who was proposed to also fill in at the town hall when no one else was available. That is a tremendous benefit to the town, and you let her all down and the town by not seconding and approving her resolution. If any of you cannot vote your conscience for the good of the town, you ought not to be holding town council positions. If petty grudges and vendettas are foremost on your mind rather than the good of Grafton, resign your post. Let someone else do what you were hired to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the floor? Pat Bush.
I just had one question. I just clarified this earlier. I think it was said the attorney said that the board members don't have to answer. Was that correct? Well, I'm wondering if he tells them they can, will they? Thank you.
Yeah.
There's no question. She's not even an attorney.
All right, anyone else? Anyone else tonight before we close public comment? All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your what? Same stuff. Unconscionable. Unconscionable. Horseshit is what was said. Thank you for your horseshit.
Yes. You want to know why people don't want to come? Because they feel like you guys feel like you're
I'll answer anybody afterwards. I can answer all your questions.
Well, you don't.
I will afterwards.
Okay, let's move on.
You don't want to hear what I have to say.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Actually,
We have resolution 34. Okay, folks, let's just get through this part, this next part. Resolution 34 of 2024. Whereas the Office of the Town of Grafton Tax Collector was recently faced with an unprecedented need for assistance as a result of certain actions taken by other municipal entities.
Okay, thanks for coming.
And whereas the town council has been advised that Amanda Mason provided 47 hours of service and 104.3 miles of mileage as detailed on the attachment hereto as an independent contractor to the Office of the Town Tax Collector to rectify the many discrepancies caused by the failures of the other municipal entities, and that such assistance was necessary and beneficial to the town of Grafton. And good cause appearing therefore, now therefore be it resolved that the town of Grafton hereby approves payment to Amanda Mason as an independent contractor of fees in the amount of $1,175, 47 hours times $25 per hour, and mileage reimbursement in the amount of $69.19, 2023 and 2024 IRS rates applied, for a total amount of authorized payment of $1,244.19. And I'd like to make a motion that we pass Resolution 34 of 2024. May I have a second, please? Seconded by Councilman Hoyt.
Councilwoman Green?
Yes.
Councilman Shea?
Yes.
Councilman Kuski?
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt?
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn?
Yes. All right, we've already addressed Resolution 35 previously. We have Resolution 36 is amending the term for the Board of Assessment Review from 2/12/2024 through 12/31/28 to 2012/2024 to 9/30/2024. How did this come about?
Because that's the actual end of the term and the resolution you guys approved last month you put 12/31/2020, or it should be 2028. You put 12/31/2028.
Okay, so we're amending it, so it's,
So it's 9/30/2028.
okay.
When the term
Before election day?
That's incorrect.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to pass Resolution 36, amending the term for the Board of Assessment Review. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Kresge.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Yes.
Councilman McCuskey,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Supervisor Leonard.
Yes. All right. Resolution 36. It's an appointment, it's the appointment of the youth director.
There's a big typo.
Well, you're going to do a motion. Do you know who you guys want to appoint?
Yes.
Who is that person?
That person is Laura Basaya.
Hi, Laura. So would someone like to make a motion to appoint Laura as the youth director?
Yes, I would.
There's a motion made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Here you go.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane.
Yes.
Councilman McCuskey, Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Supervisor Leonard.
An enthusiastic yes.
Now, that
Thank
motion
you.
becomes now automatically Resolution 37.
Laura, would you like to say something?
Okay. Hi, everybody. I think the seniors and the youth have the best part of this job. What do you think? All right, I was looking into it. I did an interest. I know some of you kids are just about done. I have nothing better to do. Working with kids is the most rewarding. I think it's the smartest thing anybody can do because that's your future. So I said yes, and I look forward to hearing things. We already have a couple of things working, and hopefully you'll be seeing something in your mailboxes and/or at the library, etc. Kind of highlighting what we plan on doing for the youth chapter. So if you have any questions for me, no problem. All right.
This is one of the things that I find to be a very positive aspect of doing this. I mean, there's a lot of challenges in the town, and I, for one, really wanted to see you get this position. It was great meeting with you and talking to you about all the great things that we're going to be working on in the future. So thank you for coming forward.
I look forward to it. Thank you very much. Great, thank
And
you.
Laura, we want to get you involved in the Easter egg hunt too.
Okay.
Let's throw you right in.
Do you have to do the planning board chairperson? Then you'd have to do the same, make a motion, and then after it's passed, it become the resolution.
All right, Resolution 38 of 2024, appointing Martha Goss as Planning Board Chairperson. I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Martha Goss. She's been a long-standing member of the Planning Board, eminently qualified, dedicated to service to the town. So I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Martha Goss as Planning Board Chairperson. I'll second. Seconded by Councilwoman DeShane.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane.
Yes.
Councilman McCuskey, Councilman Hoyt.
Yes.
Supervisor Leonard.
Yes. Resolution 39 is appointing a cleaning person.
And you have a person just for now?
Yes.
Want to say her name?
Yes, Sharon Lacy.
So does someone want to make a motion to continue the appointment of, because she's been doing it, right?
Yes.
It's out of order.
I'll make a motion to continue Sharon Lacy to be the cleaning lady.
Well, what I'm getting at is, is there any changes to her pay or to her duties?
No,
Then why do you need a motion?
we put a letter out for the first of the year and for other people.
But she's,
And
you don't,
She didn't apply.
She's basically a carryover.
she's a holdover from your resolution when you first appointed her. So there is no resolution 39.
Okay. So does that make,
So even know that she didn't.
does that make resolution 40, number 39?
No, you're just,
Keep on moving forward. All right, resolution 40. Who would like to introduce this?
I'll do it. Resolution 40 of 2024. A resolution to approve as to form proposed local law number 1 of 2024 superseding the Whitehall Doctrine and the Doctrine of Incompatibility with respect to the positions of Town Council Member and Building Inspector, Code Enforcement Officer of the Town of Grafton, and scheduling a public hearing thereon. Whereas the Town of Grafton is desirous of superseding the common law Whitehall Doctrine and Doctrine of Incompatibility with respect to the positions of Town Council Member and Building Inspector, Code Enforcement Officer in the Town of Grafton, and whereas the Town Board has reviewed proposed law number 1 of the year 2024 attached hereto, and whereas such local law appears appropriate as to form, and it appearing appropriate for a public hearing to be scheduled to consider public comments on such proposed local law. Now therefore be it resolved that proposed local law number 1 of the year 2024 is hereby approved as to form, and be it further resolved that a public hearing will be held at 6:45 p.m. on April 8th at the Town Hall of the Town of Grafton, located at 2379 New York State Route 2, Grafton, New York 12082, so as to allow the Town Board to hear public comment on local law number 1 of 2024. And be it further resolved that the Town Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to issue appropriate public notice of the public hearing scheduled herein. Motion made by myself. Seconded by
I'll second.
Councilman DeShane. Adopted.
Councilwoman DeShay?
Yes.
Councilwoman Green?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCluskey?
Abstain.
Councilman Hoyt?
Yes.
And Supervisor Leonard?
No. Okay, what's 41? This is a good one. Resolution number 41 of 2024, verifying that the books for the town justices, the town clerk, the tax collector, and the supervisor have been audited. The 4 remaining members of the town board did this, 2 weeks ago Saturday, conducted an audit of all of those aforementioned books, found things to be satisfactory. It's a normal course of business that we pass a resolution saying that we've done so. So I'd like to make a motion that we pass resolution 41. May I have a second?
Second.
Councilwoman Green?
I think she should have said.
No, she is. She is abstaining.
You can speak for yourself, I'm sure.
I'm abstaining because I was not involved in the.
Well, you were working in that office at the
Right,
time.
and I was not involved in the.
Councilwoman DeShay?
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt?
Yes.
Councilman McCluskey?
Yeah.
Supervisor Leonard?
Yes. We have resolution 42. Approval of the Catholic Church of Grafton to use the town park for their annual summer festival on July 20th, 2024. Affirming Town of Grafton sponsorship for the Grafton Town Festival. Whereas an annual festival is held in July of every year known as Grafton's Town Festival, and whereas this popular and well-attended festival includes Grafton's Our Lady of the Snows mission sponsorship of Sister Kennan's Giant Raffle, a chicken barbecue, and numerous vendors and summer activities, and whereas all Grafton's organizations are welcomed and encouraged to participate in the festival, and whereas all Grafton citizens are invited and encouraged to attend and participate, along with citizens of other communities, and whereas the Town of Grafton has been advised that the 2024 festival will be held on Saturday, July 20th, 2024, from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. on the grounds of Grafton's Town Park on Roxborough Road, and whereas it is customary that the Town of Grafton approves and sponsors the festival and authorizes use of the town park for this civic activity, now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Grafton hereby sponsors the annual Grafton Town Festival to be held on July 20th, 2024. I'd like to make a motion that we pass resolution 42. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Hoyt.
Councilwoman Green?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShay?
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCluskey?
Yes.
And Supervisor Leonard?
Yes.
Two more to go.
Yep, we have a motion to approve Grafton's participation in the hazard.
To approve the Rensselaer County Hazardous Mitigation Plan Letter of Intent. Motion made by the supervisor. Does she have a second? Second. She has a second.
Councilwoman Reed,
Yes.
Councilwoman Shane,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilman McCuskey, Supervisor Brown.
Yes. Right, and our final motion is to accept the AIT, to accept the proposal we've received from AIT.
And you all did get a chance to look at that. Okay.
And to empower the town clerk to engage their services and get it underway. I'd like to make that motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilwoman Reed,
Yes.
Councilwoman Shane,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilman McCuskey,
Yes.
Supervisor Brown.
Yes. All right, I've got a motion to pay the bills as audited. Vicki, is this voucher 73 through 112 for 141.89? No.
What do you have?
Okay.
73 through 114
Okay.
for $142,184.85.
Got it. Okay, voucher 73 through 114, total $142,179.80.
No, 184. Yeah,
Because
that was a
there
little-
was a $5
All right.
correction to Tom's class.
Okay, let's start again just for clarity. I'd like to make a motion to approve vouchers number 73 through 114 for a total of $142,184.85. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman McCuskey.
Councilwoman Green,
I'm going to abstain because I haven't looked at any of it. I haven't done anything on the vouchers.
Councilwoman
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilman McCuskey,
Yes.
and Supervisor.
Yes. Yes, all right, our next meeting will be our regular meeting on April 8th, 2024. And we've set the date for the public hearing.
Right before that.
Before that, at what time?
6:45.
6:45 PM for the public hearing on the local law that was approved as to form tonight. And then our regular meeting will ensue at 7 PM. Okay. Under legislative privilege tonight, I would just like to mention a few things that were brought up in the audience. Our bank that we have our municipal funds with is Pioneer. They have an investment program that's a little more aggressive than the one we're presently enrolled in. It'll yield us higher rates for the money that we have on deposit with them, that I'm going to be looking into with our representative from Pioneer. And there's also a platform called Town Hall Streams that's used by the town of New Lebanon. They'll do our meeting recordings. They'll do up to 4 meetings a month at $150 a month. They handle uploading the meetings to a platform that's accessible for everybody. Do you use it as well?
Petersburg uses it.
Okay, that's Deputy Supervisor Katie Murray from Petersburg, and they use it as well. Successful? Like it?
All of our meetings streamed.
Perfect. And they're clear, and you can hear what everybody's saying, so I think we should look into that, moving forward.
Madam Supervisor, does that include planning board meetings as well?
It'll include up to 4 meetings a month, so they'll be there to do them all.
Well, that's great.
Yep. And that's all I have for legislative privilege. Does anyone else have anything legislative privilege they'd like to discuss? Okay, I would like to adjourn in loving memory this evening of Leroy Jack DeCoin, Jr. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you for everyone for coming out.